Something devastating just happened behind closed doors at Netflix, and Meghan Markle is absolutely reeling from the fallout. Sources close to the streaming giant are now revealing that an internal memo has been circulating among top executives, and what it says about the Duchess of Sussex is nothing short of brutal. According to insiders, Netflix has officially classified Meghan Markle as an expensive experiment, and those three words have sent shockwaves through Hollywood's elite circles. But here is where things get truly explosive. This memo reportedly started making the rounds at the exact same time Netflix executives were giving the green light to Victoria Beckham's documentary series. The timing could not have been more humiliating for Meghan. While she was being written off as a costly mistake, her former acquaintance was being celebrated as the next big thing in lifestyle content. Palace insiders whisper that when Meghan caught wind of this, her reaction was nothing short of volcanic. The memo reportedly detailed exactly where Meghan went wrong: her refusal to take creative direction, her insistence on maintaining total control, her belief that her celebrity status alone would carry the content. One entertainment executive familiar with the situation claims that Netflix bent over backward to accommodate Meghan's demands, only to watch their investment crumble into dust. They gave her everything she asked for, and she still could not deliver. What makes this situation even more devastating is the contrast that Netflix itself has now created. On one side, you have Meghan Markle, a woman who entered the streaming world with a reported $100 million deal and the full backing of one of the most powerful entertainment companies on the planet. On the other side, you have Victoria Beckham, who arrived with considerably less fanfare, but delivered something Meghan apparently could not: content people actually wanted to watch. Industry insiders suggest that this memo represents more than just internal housekeeping. It is a signal to the entire entertainment industry about where Meghan stands. When a company like Netflix puts something in writing, it does not stay secret for long. Word travels fast in Hollywood, and right now that word is not flattering to the Duchess of Sussex. Sources close to the Sussexes claim that Meghan has been in crisis mode ever since whispers of this memo started reaching her team. She reportedly cannot understand how things went so wrong so quickly. Just a few years ago, she was the woman who had Hollywood eating out of her hand. Studios were fighting over her. Producers were desperate for meetings. Now she is being described in internal corporate documents as a cautionary tale. The question everyone in the industry is asking is simple: how did Meghan Markle go from being one of the most sought-after names in entertainment to being branded a failure by her own business partners? The answer lies in the numbers, and those numbers are absolutely damning. But that was only the beginning of Meghan's nightmare, because what the viewership data reveals is even more shocking than the memo itself. The viewership numbers for With Love, Meghan have finally been exposed, and they paint a picture of absolute catastrophe. Season 1 of her lifestyle series pulled in approximately 5 million viewers. Now that might sound respectable until you realize that random Netflix animations nobody has ever heard of regularly outperform those figures. For a woman who entered the streaming world with a $100 million deal and endless media attention, 5 million viewers is nothing short of embarrassing. But Season 1 was a triumph compared to what came next. Season 2, which dropped in August 2025, performed even worse. Reports indicate that fewer than 2 million viewers tuned in during its first month. Let that sink in for a moment. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, the woman who once commanded global attention with her every move, could not even crack 2 million viewers on the biggest streaming platform in the world. The show failed to break into Netflix's top 10 in key markets, essentially rendering it invisible. The critics showed absolutely no mercy. The Guardian awarded With Love, Meghan a brutal 2-star rating, calling the entire production boring and contrived. Those words cut deep because they strike at the very heart of what Meghan was trying to project. She wanted to be seen as authentic, warm, and relatable. Instead, reviewers saw right through the performance and called it exactly what it was. The Telegraph went even further, branding Meghan a Montecito Marie Antoinette. The comparison to the infamous French queen who allegedly told starving peasants to eat cake was deliberate and devastating. It painted Meghan as completely out of touch with ordinary people, a wealthy woman playing at domesticity, while surrounded by staff and luxury most viewers could never dream of affording. Perhaps the most cutting review came from The Times, which described the series as a show in search of a meaning, fronted by a woman in need of some cash. That final phrase landed like a punch to the gut. It suggested that Meghan's entire lifestyle empire was not built on passion or genuine interest, but on financial desperation. For someone who has spent years cultivating an image of purpose-driven work and philanthropic dedication, being publicly accused of simply chasing money must have stung terribly. Sources close to production claim that Meghan was blindsided by the critical reception. She reportedly believed the show would be embraced as a warm, intimate look into her world. Instead, audiences and critics alike rejected it as superficial and self-indulgent. One insider claims Meghan genuinely cannot comprehend why people are not connecting with her content. She thinks she is giving viewers exactly what they want, which might be the biggest problem of all. The The numbers do not lie, and right now they are screaming that something has gone horribly wrong with Meghan's entertainment ambitions. But while her star was plummeting, someone else was experiencing the exact opposite trajectory. Victoria Beckham was about to deliver a masterclass in how celebrity content should actually be done. While Meghan Markle was watching her Netflix dreams collapse in real time, Victoria Beckham was experiencing something entirely different. Her 3-part documentary series premiered on October 9, 2025, and the reception was everything Meghan had desperately wanted for herself. Critics were impressed, audiences were engaged, and Netflix executives were reportedly thrilled with their decision to back the former Spice Girl turned fashion mogul. The numbers tell a story of stunning contrast. Victoria's documentary earned an 87% average score on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics described it as a short yet intriguing series about growth, self-acceptance, and determination. The documentary followed Victoria's journey from pop stardom to building a legitimate fashion empire, and viewers found it genuinely compelling. Where Meghan's content felt staged and hollow, Victoria's came across as substantive and surprisingly intimate. The buzz in royal circles is that the timing of Victoria's success was particularly devastating for Meghan. Sources suggest that Netflix was actively developing Victoria's project during the exact same period they were quietly downgrading the Sussex deal. While Meghan was being shuffled aside, Victoria was being elevated. The streaming giant was essentially making a public statement about which British celebrity they believed in, and Meghan was not the chosen one. Industry insiders suggest that Netflix saw something in Victoria that they never found in Meghan: authenticity. Victoria Beckham has never pretended to be something she is not. She owns her wealth, her privilege, and her journey without wrapping it in false humility. Meghan, on the other hand, has spent years trying to present herself as relatable and down-to-earth while living in a $16 million Montecito mansion. Audiences can smell that disconnect from miles away. What makes this situation even more painful for Meghan is that Victoria already had a head start. Her appearance in her husband David's 2023 Netflix documentary generated massive viral interest. She became the unexpected breakout star of that series, with clips of her deadpan humor circulating across social media for weeks. Netflix recognized they had something special and moved quickly to capitalize on it. Meanwhile, Meghan's content was generating headlines for all the wrong reasons. Palace insiders whisper that Meghan has privately expressed frustration about Netflix's treatment of Victoria compared to herself. She reportedly cannot understand why the streaming giant would invest so heavily in someone she views as a competitor. Sources close to the situation reveal that Meghan believed she should have been Netflix's priority given her royal connections and global name recognition. The fact that Victoria has now eclipsed her in the streaming world is reportedly eating away at her. The contrast between these two women has never been starker. One delivered content that resonated with audiences and critics alike. The other delivered what industry professionals are now calling one of Netflix's biggest celebrity misfires. But the comparison between Meghan and Victoria goes deeper than just viewership numbers. Their complicated history adds another layer to this Hollywood showdown. The tension between Meghan Markle and Victoria Beckham did not start with Netflix. It has been simmering for years, and now that Victoria has emerged victorious in the streaming wars, every ugly detail of their complicated history is being dragged back into the spotlight. Sources close to both women reveal that this rivalry runs far deeper than most people realize, and Meghan is reportedly furious that it is now being discussed so openly. It all traces back to the royal wedding in 2018. The Beckhams were among the celebrity guests invited to witness Harry and Meghan exchange vows at Windsor Castle. At the time, everything appeared cordial. Victoria wore a stunning navy dress. David looked dapper as always. The photos suggested friendship and mutual respect. But behind the scenes, word on the street suggests that cracks were already forming. Reports surfaced that Meghan blamed the Beckhams for leaked stories about her in the British press. She reportedly believed that someone in their circle was feeding information to tabloid journalists. The Beckhams denied any involvement, but the damage was done. According to sources close to the situation, Meghan essentially froze them out. What had once been a promising friendship between two of the most famous couples in Britain turned ice cold almost overnight. Victoria reportedly found the accusations baffling and hurtful. She had welcomed Meghan into elite British circles and had nothing to gain from sabotaging her. Industry insiders suggest that Victoria simply moved on with her life, focusing on her fashion empire and her family. She did not engage in public drama or fire back through the press. She just quietly stepped away from the entire situation. Now that approach has paid off spectacularly. Victoria kept her head down, built her brand, and delivered a Netflix documentary that has earned critical acclaim. Meanwhile, Meghan spent years embroiled in controversy, burning bridges, and blaming others for her problems. The contrast in how these two women handled adversity could not be more striking. Palace insiders whisper that Meghan is struggling to accept Victoria's triumph. She reportedly views it as a personal affront, as though Netflix chose Victoria specifically to humiliate her. Sources suggest Meghan has told people close to her that the streaming giant is punishing her for speaking out against the royal family. She apparently cannot accept the simpler explanation that Victoria simply made better content. What makes this rivalry story so fascinating is what it reveals about Meghan's mindset. She seems to view every situation through the lens of competition and persecution. When someone else succeeds, she reportedly interprets it as an attack on herself. This pattern has played out repeatedly throughout her public life, and Hollywood insiders suggest it is one of the main reasons industry professionals are hesitant to work with her. The Beckham situation exposed something Meghan clearly wanted to keep hidden, but her problems with Netflix were about to get much worse, because the $100 million deal she once celebrated was being gutted behind closed doors. When Prince Harry and Meghan Markle signed their Netflix deal back in 2020, it was announced as a game-changing moment. Reports valued the arrangement at approximately $100 million. The couple was going to produce documentaries, feature films, scripted series, and children's programming. They were positioned as major players in the streaming landscape. Hollywood welcomed them with open arms. Fast forward to 2025, and that massive deal has been quietly gutted. Netflix has downgraded the Sussexes to what industry professionals call a multi-year first-look arrangement. For anyone unfamiliar with Hollywood terminology, this is essentially the streaming equivalent of being demoted from the corner office to a cubicle near the bathroom. A first-look deal means Netflix gets the right to consider Sussex projects before other studios, but it comes with no guarantees, no major budgets, and significantly less prestige. Sources close to Netflix reveal that this downgrade was inevitable after the couple's recent content failed to perform. Their earlier projects about the royal family and Harry's memoir Spare generated strong viewership because audiences were hungry for insider royal drama. But once that well ran dry, the Sussexes had nothing else to offer. With Love, Meghan proved that their appeal was tied entirely to royal controversy, not to any genuine entertainment value they could provide. The financial implications of this downgrade are staggering. Industry insiders suggest that the new arrangement is worth a fraction of the original deal. Some estimates place it at less than $20 million, though exact figures remain closely guarded. What is clear is that Harry and Meghan have gone from being Netflix royalty to being Netflix afterthoughts in the space of just a few years. Perhaps most concerning for the couple is what this means for Harry's upcoming projects. Sources reveal that his documentary about Princess Diana is currently in limbo. Netflix executives are reportedly hesitant to greenlight additional Sussex content, given how poorly Meghan's series has performed. One insider claims that every Sussex project now faces intense scrutiny that would not have existed 2 years ago. The goodwill has evaporated completely. Behind closed doors, reports suggest that Meghan and Harry are struggling to process this dramatic fall from grace. They arrived in Hollywood believing they would conquer the entertainment industry. They had the name recognition, the royal connections, and the media fascination working in their favor. What they apparently lacked was any understanding of how the industry actually operates. Word on the street suggests that Netflix gave the Sussexes multiple opportunities to course correct. They offered guidance, creative support, and promotional resources, but the couple reportedly insisted on maintaining complete control over their content, rejecting feedback that could have saved their projects from disaster. One executive familiar with the situation described working with Meghan as an exercise in frustration. The $100 million dream has officially crumbled, but Netflix was not the only one offering help that Meghan refused. She also turned down opportunities that could have saved her series from complete obscurity. Here is something that will leave you absolutely stunned. Netflix did not just throw money at Meghan Markle and walk away. They actively tried to help her succeed. They offered promotional opportunities, media appearances, and publicity strategies designed to generate buzz for With Love, Meghan. And according to sources close to the production, she turned down nearly every single one of them. Reports indicate that Netflix arranged potential appearances on major late-night shows. Stephen Colbert reportedly offered to put Meghan on live. Sources claim he was willing to let her essentially guide the interview, crafting questions that would present her in the most favorable light possible. You could not ask for a friendlier platform, and yet Meghan declined. She apparently did not feel it was necessary. The same pattern repeated across the board. Jimmy Kimmel's team reached out. Morning shows were eager to book her. Kelly Ripa's program reportedly extended multiple invitations. Magazine roundtables and glossy cover features were on the table. Netflix had lined up a promotional blitz that could have generated massive awareness for her series. Meghan said no to virtually all of it. What was her reasoning? According to insiders, Meghan told Netflix executives that her brand did not need that kind of traditional promotion. She reportedly compared herself to Gwyneth Paltrow, suggesting that A-list celebrities do not chase publicity every time they launch something new. The problem with that comparison is glaring. Gwyneth Paltrow is an Oscar-winning actress with decades of goodwill built up in Hollywood. Meghan is a former television actress whose primary claim to fame is marrying a prince and then complaining about it publicly. Netflix executives were reportedly stunned by her refusal. They had invested enormous resources into her projects and could not understand why she would reject free promotion. One source familiar with the situation claims that Meghan genuinely believes her name alone should be enough to draw audiences. She apparently cannot accept that public perception of her has shifted dramatically over the past few years. The consequences of this decision were catastrophic. Without promotional appearances, With Love, Meghan launched into something close to a vacuum. There was no media tour generating headlines, no viral interview moments spreading across social media, no charming late-night segments reminding audiences why they should tune in. The show simply appeared on Netflix and immediately began sinking. Industry insiders suggest that Meghan's refusal to promote her own work reflects a fundamental misunderstanding of how entertainment operates. Even the biggest stars in Hollywood do press tours. Even Oscar winners sit down for magazine interviews when they have projects to sell. The idea that Meghan believed herself above such efforts strikes many professionals as delusional. Sources close to Netflix reveal that after the promotional disaster, executives essentially gave up trying to guide Meghan. They let her make her own choices, knowing full well those choices would likely lead to failure. And when the holiday special arrived in December, their pessimism proved entirely justified. Just when it seemed like things could not possibly get worse for Meghan Markle, December 2025 delivered another crushing blow. Her holiday special was supposed to be a redemption moment, a chance to win back viewers who had abandoned her series, an opportunity to capture the cozy, festive spirit that makes lifestyle content irresistible during the Christmas season. Instead, it became yet another embarrassment in what has become a very long list. The Independent did not hold back in their assessment, awarding the holiday special a devastating 1-star rating. Their description was brutal. They called it background content you might play while decorating your tree or wrapping gifts. Think about what that means for a moment. Professional critics watched Meghan's big holiday offering and concluded that it was barely worth paying attention to. It was filler, noise, something to ignore while doing other tasks. The viewership numbers reflected that dismissive critical reception. The holiday special failed to crack Netflix's top 10 in key markets during what should have been its prime moment. December is when audiences are actively searching for festive content. They want cooking shows, decorating inspiration, and heartwarming entertainment. Meghan tried to deliver exactly that, and audiences collectively responded with complete indifference. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams delivered a grim prediction following the holiday special's poor performance. He warned that with love, Meghan may well be the last episode we get. The implication was clear. Netflix has run out of patience. They have given Meghan multiple opportunities to deliver, and she has failed every single time. There is no reason for them to continue investing in content that nobody wants to watch. Sources close to the production reveal that the holiday special was actually filmed months in advance. Meghan reportedly had grand visions for what it would become. She wanted it to feel intimate and magical, a glimpse into her picture-perfect Montecito life during the most wonderful time of year. What audiences got instead was more of the same hollow content that had already driven them away. Behind the scenes, insiders claim that Meghan has been in denial about the holiday special's failure. She reportedly blamed the release timing, the lack of promotion, and Netflix's failure to properly support the project. What she apparently has not done is look in the mirror and consider that she might be the problem. That pattern of deflection has become her signature move. The holiday special was meant to prove that Meghan could deliver mainstream entertainment success without relying on royal drama. It was supposed to establish her as a legitimate lifestyle brand creator in the tradition of Martha Stewart or Ina Garten. Instead, it confirmed what critics and audiences had been saying all along. Meghan Markle simply does not have what it takes to succeed in this space. The fallout from this disaster has extended far beyond Netflix. Across Hollywood, doors that were once wide open for the Duchess are now slamming shut with alarming speed. The Netflix memo and the catastrophic failure of With Love, Meghan have triggered something Meghan Markle clearly never anticipated. Hollywood is turning its back on her. The same industry that welcomed her with champagne toasts and open checkbooks just a few years ago is now treating her like a cautionary tale. And the speed of this reversal has reportedly left her reeling. Sources close to the entertainment industry reveal that talent agencies are quietly distancing themselves from the Duchess. Meetings that would have been scheduled instantly in 2020 are now being politely declined. Producers who once fought for the chance to work with her are suddenly unavailable. The Whisper network that runs Hollywood has delivered its verdict, and that verdict is devastating. Meghan Markle is considered toxic. The ripple effects extend to potential collaborations that never materialized. Reports indicate that the Kardashian family was approached about partnering with Meghan on various projects. Given their dominance in the reality television and lifestyle space, such a collaboration could have been transformative for her brand. But the Kardashians reportedly stepped back from the table. They saw something that made them hesitant to attach their name to hers, and now that decision looks remarkably prescient. Even more telling is what happened with Oprah Winfrey. This is the woman who gave Meghan the platform for her most explosive public moment. The 2021 interview that shook the royal family to its core was a gift from Oprah, a chance for Meghan to tell her story to a global audience. But when it came to actually investing in Meghan's business ventures, Oprah kept her wallet firmly closed. A multi-billionaire with endless resources chose not to put a single dollar behind Meghan's brand. That silence speaks volumes. Industry insiders suggest that the Netflix memo has accelerated a process that was already underway. Smart executives had been watching Meghan's trajectory and growing concerned. The endless controversies, the staff turnover, the the pattern of burning bridges and blaming others. These red flags were visible to anyone paying attention. The memo simply confirmed what many already suspected and gave them permission to act on their instincts. The consequences for Meghan's future in entertainment are severe. Without industry support, she cannot produce content at the level she desires. Without collaborators willing to attach their names to her projects, she remains isolated. Without the goodwill of executives who control budgets and distribution, she has no path forward. Hollywood operates on relationships, and Meghan has systematically destroyed most of hers. Sources close to the Sussexes reveal that Meghan has been making frantic calls to contacts across the industry, trying to gauge just how bad things have become. The answers she is receiving are not encouraging. People who once returned her calls immediately are now taking days to respond, if they respond at all. The town that once saw her as a valuable commodity now sees her as a liability. But Meghan has never been one to accept defeat quietly. Behind the scenes, she is desperately searching for someone to save her sinking empire. With Hollywood turning its back and Netflix showing her the door, Meghan Markle has reportedly launched a frantic behind-the-scenes campaign to find someone, anyone, who can rescue her crumbling empire. Sources close to the Sussexes reveal that Meghan has been actively pursuing wealthy investors and powerful executives who might be willing to pump cash into her struggling brand. The desperation, according to insiders, is palpable. One name keeps surfacing in these discussions: Victoria Jackson, the cosmetics mogul who has quietly become one of Meghan's most loyal supporters. Jackson has already demonstrated her generosity by allowing Meghan and Harry to use her private jet for various trips despite their very public stance on environmental issues. Now reports suggest she may be inching closer to making a substantial financial investment in Meghan's lifestyle brand. But here is where things get complicated. Industry insiders reveal that Meghan has been searching for more than just an investor. She reportedly wants a powerful CEO who can reshape her entire business operation. Someone with the credibility and connections to force Hollywood to take her seriously again. The problem, according to sources familiar with the situation, is that Meghan does not actually believe anything is wrong with her approach. She thinks the issue is perception, not substance. A former staff member reportedly revealed something telling about Meghan's mindset. She genuinely does not understand why people are not buying into her brand on a bigger level. She views the failures as everyone else's fault. Netflix did not support her properly. The media is biased against her. The public has been poisoned by negative coverage. What she apparently cannot accept is that her content simply is not good enough to succeed on its own merits. This refusal to acknowledge reality has made the search for a business savior incredibly difficult. What serious executive wants to attach themselves to someone who rejects all feedback and blames others for every setback? The very qualities that have torpedoed Meghan's Netflix deal are now preventing her from finding anyone willing to help rebuild. Sources close to Meghan reveal that she has been putting on a brave face despite the mounting disasters. She reportedly told her staff that everything is fine and they should not worry about their jobs. She has insisted that the brand is on the right track and that success is just around the corner. Whether she actually believes this or is simply trying to prevent a mass exodus of employees remains unclear. The timing of her friendship with Victoria Jackson has raised eyebrows among industry observers. Some suggest that Meghan strategically cultivated this relationship, knowing she might eventually need financial support. Others believe Jackson genuinely feels sympathy for how Meghan has been treated publicly and wants to help. Either way, any investment would come with significant strings attached. The question now is whether anyone can truly save Meghan from herself. The pattern of behavior that destroyed her Netflix relationship shows no signs of changing, and Hollywood has a very long memory when it comes to people who waste their opportunities. The secret Netflix memo has done more than just embarrass Meghan Markle. It has exposed the uncomfortable truth that Hollywood insiders reportedly knew all along. The Duchess of Sussex was never going to succeed in the entertainment industry on her current trajectory. The warning signs were there from the beginning. The ego, the refusal to accept guidance, the pattern of blaming everyone but herself when things went wrong. Netflix simply put it in writing. What makes this situation so remarkable is how quickly everything unraveled. Just 5 years ago, Meghan Markle was being celebrated as a transformative figure. She had escaped the constraints of royal life. She had secured a $100 million deal with the biggest streaming platform in the world. She had A-list celebrities lining up to work with her. The future seemed limitless. Now she is being described in corporate memos as an expensive experiment, and watching her former acquaintance Victoria Beckham claim the spotlight she desperately wanted. The contrast between these two women has become a case study in how to handle fame and opportunity. Victoria kept her head down, worked hard, and delivered content that audiences genuinely connected with. She never complained publicly about her treatment. She never blamed others for her challenges. She simply put in the effort and let the results speak for themselves. Meghan took the opposite approach, and the outcomes could not be more different. Sources close to the royal family reveal that there is little sympathy for Meghan's predicament within palace walls. She burned those bridges years ago with her public accusations and her willingness to monetize private family matters. Prince William and Catherine reportedly view her Netflix failure as the inevitable consequence of her choices. Even King Charles, who once tried to maintain some relationship with his younger son, has apparently accepted that the Sussex chapter is effectively closed. The question now is, what comes next for Meghan? Will she finally accept responsibility for her failures and change course? Will she find an investor willing to fund another attempt at lifestyle domination? Will she retreat from public life and focus on raising her children away from the spotlight? Or will she double down on the same strategies that have brought her to this point? Industry insiders suggest that Meghan faces an impossible choice. Admitting she was wrong would require a level of self-awareness she has never demonstrated. But continuing on her current path guarantees more failure and more humiliation. She is trapped by her own inability to evolve. One thing is certain: the Netflix memo has changed everything. Meghan Markle entered Hollywood believing she could conquer it through sheer force of celebrity. Instead, Hollywood has conquered her. The question is whether she will ever truly understand why. So what do you think happens next for Meghan? Can she ever recover from this devastating blow? Or is her entertainment career finished for good? Drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and stay tuned because the next video is waiting, and you will not believe what is coming next.